Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sheffield United and Wolverhampton Wanderers.
The grandest available setting for the 100th meeting of two of the grandest old Football League clubs. The burden of famous history, the weight of current expectation, the Blades or the Wolves for the last place in a league where both feel they belong. Sheffield United, by some yardsticks the team of the season, filled the side which began the second half of their semi-final second leg. That is to say that Steve Cabba, who scored spectacularly as a half-time sub at Bramall Lane, starts instead of Dean Windass. Just 4 of these 11 have played in the Premiership before, and only Robert Page, who skippers them on his international home ground, has won a First Division final before. Incidentally, Neil Warnock departs from his recent norm by including a goalkeeper amongst his substitutes. Wolves have much more Premiership savvy. 7 of these have played in it, 2, Irwin and captain Ince, have won it, and Sean Newton reached it with Charlton in '98 via the greatest playoff final of them all. He keeps his place, Georgian Dar didn't make it, as Dave Jones also sticks with his semi-final second leg personnel. They call this the £25 million football match, so Steve Bennett's decision-making will never have counted for more. Left in the Premiership. The final fixture of the English domestic football season. Frighteningly high stakes. I wonder, Jim Beglin, which of these two sides is better equipped for this afternoon and what may lie beyond them?
Well, thanks, Peter, for that, because it's not an easy call. I mean, my head's telling me Sheffield United, and yet my gut instinct is for Wolves. But both sides have shown fabulous character just to get this far. I hope it lives up to its billing.
Outstanding players on show today will be Michael Brown, though he has run into traffic early in the shape of Cameron, and now Kenny Miller's had a early pot, providing a comfortable early touch for Paddy Kenny, the goalkeeper who ended last season relegated to the 3rd Division with Bury, the very edge of promotion to the Premiership with Sheffield United. Ince by Robert Page. Chased down by Carla Saba. It's Lescott who's backpedaling. Saba found himself room. Tongue. Steve Bennett in the vicinity has given no decision at all. It apparently didn't go out. And Love kept going. Newton had a swing at it. It bounced out and behind. It's a goal kick.
Well, I was surprised at Julian Lescott because he seemed to stop. He should never do that unless you hear the whistle. And maybe a sign of nerves from him as well, because he hesitated initially and then was a little indecisive when it mattered, but he'll be in the thick of it today, won't he?
After all he has won, Premiership titles, FA Cups, European medals in his sock drawer, up against another passionate captain in Robert Page, on his own patch in Cardiff. He could have been with Wales in San Jose this week. And Nathan Blake, who are directly opposite each other, have surrendered the chance of another Welsh international cap to stay in Wales for their clubs. Page, who lifted the First Division playoff trophy for Watford 4 years ago, with Carla Saba, another veteran of the famous final to aim at. That's out for Michael Brown. He lashed it over. Brown was in the Manchester City side that met Gillingham in that famous final under Joe Royle, and eventually prevailed on penalties. Mott Rankin was recently here as well with Preston against Bolton. Neil Warnock, who's gone through all his 1001 superstitions, right down to the colour of the rose on his lapel when he entered the stadium. Had a walk down to the stadium this morning, picked his hotel on the basis of what he's done over 4 successful playoff campaigns in the past. High from Irwin, chasing back his Page. Miller beat him to it and lined it up for Blake! Big opening.
Well, Sheffield United should have dealt with that better. They shouldn't have let the ball bounce to begin with. It's too easy for Kenny Miller to get onto it. He shows good strength to feed it to Blake, and he should have hit the target. Gets it nicely onto his left foot. He really should have been steering that inside the post. Keeper had to work. What a great early chance.
A Cardiff-born striker in Cardiff, who has been promoted before with Bolton Wanderers and with Blackburn Rovers, and come back down with both of those, and indeed with Sheffield United 9 years ago. And he had the first chance to make a genuine impact in the playoff final of 2003. Followed by Kozluk, away by Dennis Irwin. His list of honours is even greater than that of his former Manchester United colleague Paul Ince. Throw, Osama competing for it. He scored the first goal of a playoff final at Wembley. The final ended 2-2, and his first goal came after 81 minutes. And it's the sort of history that this fixture and those like it have tended to take on. Lee Naylor, one club man, Wolverhampton through and through. For Cabba to chase, the man who had such an impact in the second leg of the semi-final, Steve Cabba, and he's kept it in for Osama. Away from whom it is seen by Paul Butler for a Sheffield United corner.
Good challenge by Butler in the end, but that's why Cabba's in, because he created a chance out of absolutely nothing. Chased what looked like a lost cause into the corner, got a great ball in. Butler defended it well.
Tongue went short. Brown is the playmaker. Held up by Kennedy. Lifted it in beyond Page and behind.
Just became a little difficult for him. I mean, he's the driving force in the Sheffield United midfield. Doing what you expect, but by taking it inside, there was no angle really for a cross.
So many human interest stories surround this final, and of course David Jones is representative of one of those. What he has been through, there's a groundswell of opinion that he deserves his chance back in the Premiership. Blake's flip, Miller's chase, Jagielka backpedaling, came to Kennedy! Wolves are flying! Mark Kennedy with the purest, zippiest hit you would ever see. And it's all goal.
Well, again, I think Sheffield United could have been more decisive. That's a couple of times the ball's come long in the air and they haven't dealt with it. Good flick on by Blake. And Kennedy was so well fed. The difference between Nathan Blake before is he made sure it was going to be on target. And maybe questioned Paddy Kenny as to whether he could have guarded the post a little better. Miller does ever so well. Well, what about that for a strike and the start for Wolves?
Just the settling start that either side would have craved. And it has gone in favour of Wolverhampton Wanderers, who came into this game with the momentum that they so lacked at the end of last anticlimactic season. They were 11 games unbeaten coming to the Millenium Stadium. Sheffield United, who made it into the playoffs earlier than they did, and therefore perhaps took their foot off the gas, find themselves with momentum now under Neil Warnock to refine. A part of the Sheffield United psyche, this most memorable of seasons, to be at their best when they are up against it. They trailed at the City Ground Nottingham, they trailed by 2 in the second leg at Bramall Lane against Nottingham Forest. They are not beaten till they're beaten. It is also worth pointing out some of the history of this fixture. 6 of the last 9 winners in the First Division final have been behind at some stage. It is a game that tends to run its course. Blake. Bounce back off Page, came to Newton. He knows all about the ups and downs of this fixture. Kennedy, who has had a career full of ups and downs. Lifted in by Irwin towards Kennedy again, his sometime international colleague. Peter on left. Boy, I nearly hit with my case leaving the hotel this morning. The whole family are here for him, and time lucky he scrapes it partially away, still only to Tongue. Seems to tidy up for him. Spent all of last year on the bench, didn't make his debut until half a dozen or so games into the season at Wimbledon. He's making his 48th consecutive start. Kozlik again with a throw and Murray with a very good catch. He's 6'3", he's pretty broad as well.
He'll feel a lot better after that too. I mean, obviously a terrific start for Wolves with the goal. He showed a few nerves in the semi-finals against Reading. That'll steady him.
For Jagielka, who is defensive heavily despite proximity of Kenny Miller's flailing limbs. The difference his burst of goals this year has made to Wolves. He missed 3 months of last awful season. Only scored a couple of goals for them as it all went pear-shaped this year. 23 in 51 games. He's been a constant.
I think it's the obvious difference between the sides since the game started. I think the two front men for Wolves have been excellent. They've just been getting there ahead of Jagielka and Page, and again both were involved in feeding Kennedy for what was a great strike.
Blake up with Page, came to Kennedy, on by Miller, taken up by Nathan Blake. Seen away by John Curtis. Top level experience of course in Manchester United and Blackburn, who are still his primary employers. Lindelof. Leicester. Cameron. Comes a challenge from Tongue. Steve Bennett to be selected for this game. He's the one who's played for the highest stakes of the whole season. Graham Palmer did this fixture last year and got the cup final this year. It's a big stepping stone for the officials. Free kick. Lescott is forward. Jagielka dealt with it. Kozlik got it away. Asaba came to get it. Irwin won it back. 4 years ago to the day, he was in the Bernabeu with Manchester United. Got through towards Asaba. Going up for Kaba. Newton's the tackler. The would-be tackler. Kaba has shrugged him off. Support from Tongue. And now Brown. And then Cabba and the tackle from Cameron, and Steve Bennett was well positioned to allow play to go on. There's a flavour about the game early which suggests they rather mean it.
I think you're going to see quite a bit of that. Just look at the four you've got in the centre midfield. Brown and Rankin for Sheffield United. Ince and Cameron. All tenacious. All battle-hardened.
By Kenny Miller. Nathan Blake is the only old goal shown amongst several Sheffield United players, and Kenny's got himself into trouble and is mightily grateful for the presence of Phil Jagielka.
Well, no surprise to see Jagielka apologise. This has been the ball that's caused them trouble throughout. This should be a more decisive header. It's not good enough. Difficult for Paddy Kenny. How fortunate is he that Jagielka can recover?
Naylor. Again by Jagielka. Miller. Naylor. Looking at Blake. By Curtis. Pursued by Sean Newton. Irwin. Feel better about himself. Swift clearance by the goalkeeper as well. Butler was beneath it. Cameron helped it on its way. Brown picked it up though for United and scampered away first from Cameron and then from Irwin, and he was convinced that Irwin caught him.
I'm inclined to agree. I think he skipped over Dennis Irwin and was just hoping that the referee would fall for it.
Michael Brown, in the aftermath of Dennis Irwin's challenge, has continued the debate with Steve Bennett, who of course has the final word and doesn't want to show a card, but Nick Brown's claim is that if he was going to show a card, it should have been to the Irish full-back.
Contact was everything. The referee was on top of it. Dennis Irwin was up straight away to protest that. I didn't make any contact, ref. I thought so too.
Watched off by Blake, who's gone down in climbing for that header. Newton held up by Tom. He's doing the sensible thing. By Nathan Blake. He'll receive treatment now.
What a goal he scored. You know, but I think it was probably in his head from Nathan Blake before that. This time, I've got to make sure and make the keeper work at least, but it was beautifully placed inside that near post.
That's what it means to Wolverhampton Wanderers, to the players in their employ now who carry the weight of so much history, and to the 9th different manager, Dave Jones, the 9th different manager charged since their relegation in 1984 with making Wolves big again. Wolves. Away from Miller. Butler away from the sun. Following up. Cabot Club. Breaks for Unlove, who has Brown alongside. Brown back for Peter Unlove. Paul Ince with a Paul Ince kind of a tackle. Cameron. Blake. Newton. Kennedy's gone with it. This is Mark Kennedy. Rankin, further out by Page, Michael Tom. To a corridor for Cabot. Tom. Out of Lescott's feet. And Love. Faced by Naylor. Peter and Love. More in swing than he got. Who can infuriate and excite in equal measure, always has been.
I think he just put a little too much behind it. He's obviously going for the curler. It's just a little too forceful and always away.
Should have been the 5th day of Zimbabwe against England today. I suppose his mind would have been on Lords. Sheffield United's 61st game of this extraordinary season. Paddy Kenny there has played all but one of them. Possibly a meaningless final fixture at Watford, which time the work had been done until now. Forward by Jagielka, nicely taken by Asaba, jabbed on towards Kaba. Only partially out by Butler. Unluck. With a lightness of feet about the Zimbabwe. Rankin. Curtis. Lescott got something on. Nice throw, Tong's turn. Nice touch from Rankin. And Tong, and Asaba, and Rankin. Triangle amongst those Sheffield United stars. Kaba couldn't get the touch to complete it. Here's Miller. Newton. Miller. And Love. Kaba ahead of it, but Love's got himself. Irwin threw his body in for the cause. Despite his relative geriatricity, he is still as involved and as up as anyone else.
Unless it's a tactic, Peter, I think Dennis Irwin needs to sow Wolves up. They're very deep, very early, and until Sheffield United get the ball now. And I think they're handing him a route back into this match.
Kosler. Untied by Jolyon Lescott. Well won by Blake, and well pursued by Cameron. Away from Jagielka, Cameron! That's a very good save. Nastily bouncing, bobbling ball, well struck by Cameron.
I think it's centre-back hesitation again. I think Jagielka can come to the ball and make Cameron make a decision earlier. In the end, there was nothing. Both backed off. How important could that save be from Paddy Kenny? Because it's creeping into the corner, does so well to get across.
Good strong top hand at the expense of a corner. Kennedy with that corner, Ince with the header, 2-0, Nathan Blake! Wolverhampton Wanderers have clear daylight and have a glimpse, just have a glimpse of the Premiership. Nathan Blake, Cardiff-born, in Cardiff.
To be honest, I think for me this illustrates Wolves' sharpness in attack. They've been that little bit quicker to everything when they've got in around the Sheffield United box as opposed to the other end. Ince just ahead, and all Blake has to do after it came his way is just to help it on. There's enough pace on it. Wasn't a clean header by Ince, but still went in the right place. And now they really are up against it.
What a fantastic story for a man who surrendered the possibility of an international cap for Wales, to stay in Wales, to stay in the city of his birth, to score what could be an epoch-making goal for Wolverhampton Wanderers. But it is worth stressing again that you just do not write off a Neil Warnock side. Remember, they were 2 goals behind in their semi-final, and they got back. He has resolve up those short sleeves of his that not many others do have. It ain't over till it's over. It's Kosler with the throw, and Murray has dropped it, so Steve got to see the push. Every sinew to get up for that header, but Alex Ray, his natural replacement, is getting warm just in case.
I think Ince is really struggling now. Peter, if it is a hamstring and he has pulled it or even torn it, then there's no way forward for him in this match. He'll have to go off.
every opportunity to run it off if he can, but Terry Connor and Dave Jones there have a critical decision to make shortly. Meantime, here is Cabba for Sheffield United. Lescott away from them. Brown pursuing it, and Newton getting there first. Blake. Raised by Blake and Rankin. With the touch, lifted out by Ince, who still isn't moving happily. Back in by Jagielka. Newton spearing ahead. Ince throwing his limbs into it, regardless of any pain he's feeling. Smiling regardless of that pain too. It might be the last football match he ever plays professionally. I find it hard to believe. There are those prepared to have that debate. I'd imagine that if Wolves go up, he'd want a piece of it.
Well, just a bit. A chance to visit a few old haunts in the Premiership tonight.
Coming in with Rankin. Take away. The survivor of the Sheffield United team that was relegated so cruelly at the end of the 93-94 season, when about 3 results had to go against them, and all did, and Chelsea scored in the dying moments at Stamford Bridge. And Everton did something extraordinary against Wimbledon. Carlos Salva won a playoff, or lost a playoff with Gillingham when all seemed won against Manchester City one year, and then won one against Wigan the following year when they went behind in extra time. This is not a fixture for counting your chickens. Again, he seems okay now, and unlike with a drive that bordered on the fantastically ridiculous. Lost to playoff semi-finals with Birmingham during that storm, when year after year they seem to get so close and not make it. His 4th playoff final. Joining him twice. Robin Cosworth has played Premiership football with Derby in the past. Blake. Edwin Love. Towards Page, Lescott got up highest. They've kept going there. Page rose as well. Flicked it on for Tom. Lescott away. Miller tried to turn, and Miller has shrugged off his man, and Steve Bennett has called him back, which is a source of great irritation for him.
Yeah, that was an occasion when Steve Bennett should have been looking to play the advantage. Miller wasn't complaining about the challenge, he was away from his man. And it was one-on-one, still a long way from goal, but one-on-one nonetheless.
the Blades' way in recent years. They haven't won any of their last 4 games against Wolves. Although of the previous 99, and this is the 100th meeting, Sheffield United have won 3 more than Wolves. There's never been a more important meeting between these two famous clubs than this one. And they've won it well. It's a feature of his performance in the semi-final that, for all his flair and fancy stuff, Peter Unlove did get stuck into a tackle or two.
I feel Sheffield United have just got to involve him, and indeed Michael Turner on the other side, because they've used an awful lot of long ball stuff early in this game. I always feel they're at their best when they're forcing the pace, get their passing going, and involve everybody. It's not the case at the moment.
Dealing with it. Sheffield United now with into their courts. There's Mark Rankin and Michael Brown, who can produce special things from this sort of range when permitted to do. Tom Coswell. It's cross, and well, he might have got a shout, or he might have worked it out for himself that there was no danger behind. His first 4 in the under-21 caps during the course of this season. Newton, Blake, Miller, Nathan Blake, Sean Newton, held by Robbie Coswell, came with Peter Unlove, heaved up towards Asaba.
Well, it's another example of Miller and Blake linking up superbly well. They've made a great start to the match. I think Blake could have struck that. It opened up for him for a moment. I think he could have hit it instead of feeding Newton.
Curtis on loan, of course, as he was for Barnsley when he reached the playoff final 2 or 3 years ago, which they lost thrillingly to Ipswich at Wembley. Naylor, who's never been anywhere but Wolves, with the throw. Of course, he scored a free kick to equalise at Millenium against Reading. It's his throw which away by Coswell, only as far as Cameron, beaten down by Rankin, held up by Cabba. Lescott got a piece of it. Naylor down the line for Kennedy, who can run now at Curtis. Kennedy for the byline, Curtis denying him that access. And Kennedy sticking out a rather desperate leg. He's played in the top flight with Liverpool and Wimbledon and with Manchester City. He was promoted with the last of those clubs 3 years ago. It has been a roller coaster life in professional football for Mark Kennedy.
See, this is typical of what's happening at Sheffield United. They're going for that long route all the time. Wolves are dropping deep because they don't want Cabot to get behind them with his pace, and they've got the midfield compressed on top of the back 4, and there's nowhere for Sheffield United to go. I think they've got to find a different route, get playing with the football.
By Miller, away from Curtis, and back with typical pugnacity by Cameron. Kennedy, Wolves ball. Mark Kennedy's injury towards the end of last season was one of several reasons given for Wolves' collapse. He's with them when it matters now, and sits across into the arms of Paddy Kenny. Jagielka short. Somehow squeezed it back to him, and Tong has now found Kaba. Lescott committed to the sliding challenge. Considered a corner. How highly do you rate this guy? Premiership player?
Definitely, very highly. I've seen him now about half a dozen times, in the flesh as it were. Never seen him have a bad game. Rock solid, sees things nice and early.
Here's Brown, who'll also be at home surely at the highest level. Tong won't thank you for that pass though. Goal kick. Tong, Mancunian, a boyhood Manchester City fan who's been speaking this week about how much he's been looking forward to meeting Mrs. Inson Irwin, most of all to playing for Neil Warnock, who's done everything as he did when with Notts County, with Huddersfield in his previous triumphs, and with Plymouth. He's been to the Belfry, he's hit a few golf balls. This season he's ruffled a few reputations.
Yeah, and I know when they were 2-0 down against Forest in the second leg, they got a quick goal back, which was a big help. But I was impressed by them not panicking that night. There was a composure about it. They still carried on playing the way they'd set out to do, and I think they've lost that today. I think they need to restore their composure and get passing the ball.
With the free kick, Saba with the lead. Seen sternly out again by Lescott. Kennedy. Didn't give up the chase, and he's been given the throw. Curtis. And in towards Saba, and Unlove! Bounced away from him before he knew it, and Owen saw it into touch. By Brown, or by Osaba. Out by Murray, came to Page. Miller with time to hold it up. Kennedy to hit it long. Cameron is furthest forward for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Workers clearance, Blake allowed to go on after the little shove. Miller through for Newton. Agent Jagielka saw him away from the danger area. Another in Butler got there before Osaba. Miller has stayed down. I think he was squeezed between Jagielka and Page.
I think he's blameless, isn't he, for the chance before, because he's thinking Osaba just in front of him is going to get something on it. It comes at him so quickly, it's impossible to anticipate it and control it.
Is Neil Warnock's right-hand man, and has been almost wherever he's gone, right back to the Scarborough days. They came into the Football League together. First of all, he's going to have to hobble off.
It looks one that we might be able to run off, Peter. I'm just amazed at Ince, because early in the game it looked as if his hamstring had completely gone, and he's still in the thick of it, not a problem.
Funny how hamstrings repair so quickly in the last week of May. Now, if there's one guy for whom you would want Wolves to go up, it is Sir Jack Hayward. Millions and millions of pounds of his own money, and goodness knows how much emotion he's given to the club as well, and how much disappointment he has suffered.
And he says he's only going to relax if they're 4-0 up with 5 minutes to go.
And he's halfway to relaxing. Page. By Cameron. Page. Kaba on the turn. Naylor labouring to stay with him. Kaba has such power when he gets up ahead of steam. Tong. Neat feet from Tong. And still. And now Cabot. And a brilliant save by Murray to salvage Paul Ince, because the skipper's header was goal-bound.
And Murray was on his way to the far post. Michael Tongue's looking for a penalty for this. I don't think there's anything in that. But what a reaction that is from the keeper to get back across. Brilliant from Matt Murray.
And a face saver for Paul Ince. Tongue with the corner. And Love getting up. Connecting both with ball and with Dennis Irwin. To no great effect.
Well, never mind just the goals. I mean, sometimes saves can win you occasions like this as well. And if Wolves do pull it off, this is one they may well look back on, because I thought this was destined for the net. Paul Ince just gets his head in the way. Fantastic reach by Murray.
Has kept 19 clean sheets in his 47 games this season. He is conceding exactly one goal a game. Cruel than this game, particularly to fans, and particularly one supposes to Sheffield United fans if they were to lose this. After 2 cup semi-finals, it would become the ultimate nearly club. Wolves goal, and was very close to having a head in a Sheffield United goal. In by Brown. The second foul. Look at Brown's cross. Page coming around the back. Gathering it in with great assurance. As part of the Blades problem is the potential breakup of this excellent young team if they don't get up this year. I do suspect that 1 or 2 of theirs may be in the Premiership next year regardless. Michael Tongue could be one of those. And Curtis is currently employed by a Premiership club. Won by Asaba. And Love wants a piece of it. Tongue. Brown. Cosler. Faced by Newton. 3 minutes until half-time. Asaba. Irwin away. Brown. Faced by Ince. Nicked in for Cabot. Nicked in for Asaba. Stolen away by Butler. Jagielka. Cabot. Defended by Naylor and Cameron. It's overly quiet, most arrogant, but Cameron's got away with it. Kennedy. Led by Jagielka. Blake went in hard. Coslet came and took it. Oh, and Irwin's got in very, very hard. On Peter and Love, who is writhing, really writhing in agony. Say, for a defender as accomplished and as experienced as Dennis Irwin, that looked at first glance like a tackle of a wild, rash youngster.
Well, it certainly deserves yellow. I mean, one instant I'm thinking it could even be red, because it's so out of character from him as well. It's not part of his makeup normally, and he was extremely late and seemingly deliberate as well on Peter Undlove.
How to say, you had to look twice to assure yourself that that really was Dennis Irwin going in like that. For a player who's played with such assurance for great clubs and country over the years, to fly in at Peter Undlove like that.
I think it's one of those he realised that Undlove was always getting there before him, and it's not looking any better, is it, in the replay?
So Dennis Irwin has a card, more or less to match the colour of his shirt. It's an amber warning. greater immediate pertinence, with Peter and Love gladly up and willing to carry on. Greater immediate pertinence, Sheffield United have a last chance to load the ball into the Wolves box before half-time. By Page, I've got a sob, I've got Butler again. He's a decent lead with a great sturdiness about him. Back in by Jagielka. But without great quality.
I think there's a lot for Neil Warnock to sort out. They were tentative at the back early on, that certainly cost them, and I think they've been one-dimensional going forward. They're a better side than what they're showing today. And Wolves, for me, are looking comfortable.
Cameron, Blake, on one for Newton, Miller waiting in the middle, Sean Newton for Wolves to have a 3-goal lead at the break. They have a 3-goal lead at the break. It is Kenny Miller. They can reach out and touch it. The Premiership is very, very nearly theirs, and it isn't half-time yet.
And that's been the difference. Every time Wolves have attacked Sheffield United, they've looked dangerous. I mean, again, this is too simple. It's too easy. Look at the oceans of space Newton has. All the time in the world to look up. It's not the most immaculate of touches from Kenny Miller. It doesn't matter. It was good enough to find the back of the net. And again, it's a soft goal from a defensive viewpoint. Wolves, I think they'll be pinching themselves in the dressing room at half-time. What a scoreline this is at the break.
While Wolverhampton Wanderers suffered one of the most extraordinary collapses of all time in failing to be promoted last season. The 11 points they threw in the direction of their neighbours and rivals West Bromwich Albion took some believing, but if they blow it now, then it would eclipse even that. The Premiership is waiting for them. It is theirs if they just have the resolve, the good common sense, the basic football principles to make it theirs now. And Sheffield United, for all their great resolve, their inner belief, their extraordinary capacity for achieving almost anything when they want it, for them it is almost out of reach. They have a free kick for a foul on Michael Tongue in stoppage time at the end of the first half.
Well, they need to get something out of this for a dressing room that's going to be at least a little more upbeat at half-time. I think they need to get one back right on the stroke now.
Ince the offender. Brown over the set piece with Tom. Michael Brown has made these count famously over the course of this campaign. Michael Tom is his deputy striker. One of them has to get it right now to keep Sheffield United in the piece. Looking for his corner. Michael Brown, good save again. He is a top-rate young goalkeeper who will be at home at the higher level.
Well, that's a goalkeeper being very alert. He's guarding the far post, aware that it might go near, maybe not quite creeping in, he couldn't be sure. Another fine save.
Time for the corner. Tongue takes it, Murray comes and gathers. Half-time, pinch them, they are dreaming old goal dreams. In the wildest recesses of their imagination, Wolves folk could not have believed that they would lead 3-0 at half-time in the playoff final. But Kennedy, Blake and Miller have given the old gold a 3-goal lead at half-time. They are nearly there. Two-legged playoff semi-final. This is Sheffield United's 15th cup tie of the season. 11 of those were at home and they won the lot, but they haven't won a single one away from Bramall Lane. They lost at Anfield, they lost against Arsenal at Old Trafford, they drew at Nottingham Forest, and they are in an almost impossible position here as Nathan Blake tries to penetrate them again. Jim, is it achievable?
Yes, but I think the next goal, if we're to get more goals, is crucial. I think if Sheffield United get it, then the belief will be restored that they can pull off a great comeback. They needed leadership on the pitch. Stuart McCall will certainly give them that. Brown can gallop forward. I think they need more width. I think they've got to ease off on this direct route forward all the time.
McCall. I wonder whether his inclusion did have anything to do with the fact that the manager won't be there and a sort of senior figure on the pitch to do the manager's job, if you like.
Well, whether Neil Warnock was on the bench or not, I think nobody seemed to be just trying to sort them out in the first half, organise them and settle them down, because there were quite a few with a lot of nerves. After the games they've played in this season, the big occasions, I didn't think we'd see that, but it was certainly present early on.
Page for Asaba, taken up now by Tongue. As soon as he has the ball, or indeed anyone else, there are 4 Wolves shirts around him. Blake is seen off it by Jagielka. Wolf goes shoulder to shoulder with Kennedy. Breaks for Brown. Curtis. McCall. Brown has it back. Sheffield United have to make things happen quickly, just to inject themselves with something approximating to self-belief. McCall. Cosley. Aimed at Asaba, out by Leicester. Comes down for Brown. Nicked in for Tongue. Turned wide for Love. Asaba goes in for it. Steve Bennett's seen an arm. And he's given a penalty. The most innocuous seeming moment. Paul Butler is the offending defender, and you're bound to say he did everything he could to take his arms out of the way.
Well, you know my opinion on things like that. I've been in the position, the ball really hits you rather than you playing the ball. In fact, in that instance, he said it, Peter, he's trying to remove his arm from the equation. It's very, very harsh.
Well, that is some decision, but it offers Sheffield United and Michael Brown a lifeline. And Murray has saved it! And the follow-up is over as well. And you're tempted to say that justice is done. You are also tempted to remark, not for the first time on the afternoon, as Sheffield United folk continue to go into mourning, that here is a Premiership goalkeeper in the making.
Well, I think the penalty spoke for itself. It's at a lovely height and it's not near the corner. So Matt Murray was always likely to make the save, but I take nothing away from him. He's having an outstanding afternoon, and that's just another episode.
Everything that is going anywhere is going Wolves' way. We feel a certain sympathy for Michael Brown, who's been outstanding this season long. There's Cabba having a go. That bounces kindly for Murray. Steve Cabba, who got a goal for Grimsby at Wolves earlier this season. Love. McCall. Cosley. Tongue. Linked in by McCall, pursued by Asaba, washed behind by Leicester.
Cool as you like again. I mean, he was in control of the situation. He was able to just lean into Asaba and allow it to drift out.
Poor Michael Brown, 22 goals this season from midfield, a really outstanding prospect. And most of this extraordinary campaign, he has made Sheffield United tick. Paul Butler, whose heart would have been in his mouth after the award of a very harsh penalty against him. He was promoted as a champion of this division with Sunderland in 1999. Page in towards Osama. Cava fighting for it. Naylor up into the gods. Page got up. Kenny Miller. Showed a bit of it to McCall. Tongue. On one for Unluff. Out by Irwin.
I just think, Peter, again, the blades are not helping themselves because they're very, very narrow. Nobody's trying to supply the width. And I think, if anything, they've modified things second half. Cava has gone right. Asaba's holding the centre position. And if anything, Unlove is playing as a third striker, pushing up on the left. Tongue and Brown have just tucked inside a little more with McCall anchoring.
Bay of the lot. I guess when you're in this sort of predicament as a Sheffield United fan, you have to smile and try to enjoy the day. It's an awful game to lose. Cross target in front of Kenny Miller, who's scored just before half-time. Just might turn out to be the clincher. It's possible to believe Sheffield United could come back from 2 behind when they got a penalty early in the second half. Even 3 was within the realms of credibility. They have less than 40 minutes now to achieve a turnaround. Literally getting a bit of a ticket off from the referee for involving himself despite only being a warming-up substitute. Brown. The love. Cava going through. Lescott back. Sometimes what makes the difference to promoted sides when they get into the Premiership is their capacity to defend with maturity and style. It's possible that Wolves have in Julian Lescott and in their goalkeeper a couple of players who are capable of taking it to that level. Extraordinary when you think where they have come from. 16 years ago yesterday, Wolves lost the second leg of the first ever 4th Division playoff final against Aldershot and stayed down. Here they are, all that time later, and they're on the verge of the Premiership. And of course, to the joy of their supporters, they have the prospect of swapping places with West Bromwich Albion, who sure rubbed it in a year ago. Lescott jumped under it, Butler dug him out. Never couldn't get there. Brown. Out by Butler, taken up by Tongue. Thumped without complication by Lescott up towards Blake. Curtis. Brown. Asaba.
This is some of the best football we've seen from Sheffield United. I know they've got to force it a bit more, but you know, at least it's composed and a little more patient instead of that rush ball, predictable ball forward.
Miller for Newton. Blake. Cameron. Keeping the ball would do for Wolves, even from this far out. Kennedy. Ince. There's there's just no need to give it away, really. Instant for Blake. Blake via a shot has given it away. Just off by Osama. That's gone down. Lescott was closest to him. He's been summoned for a word. Climb on towards Unlove. He'll hit it against Lescott. It bounced back from a call. Kozluk. By Ince. Came to Curtis. All hands on deck now for Wolves as Sheffield United try with increasing desperation to get a foothold in the game before it is too late. Cabba.
There's obviously good communication, particularly between the two centre-backs of Wolves, Butler and Lescott, because they've kept a great shape at the back.
Saba back again. Showing immense frustration for him and those around him. There just hasn't been a way past Joleon Lescott. Paul Butler alongside him.
I think you need a bit more craft, Peter, and I think, given another 5 or 10 minutes, and Paul Pescasolido and his potential has got to be introduced.
The way like Unlove, Pescasolido is one of those players who just comes off sometimes.
Well, he's on that run at the moment, isn't he? Everything's coming off for him.
Space ahead of Tongue, and Osama ahead of Tongue, and the flag stayed down. Osama trying to get round Lescott, and he has effected a cross, and it came to Brown, who isn't connecting today. Those have flown in for him this year.
I thought he was going to let it come across his body. He certainly stayed onside, Osama, and he did particularly well to get away from Lescott. I think if Michael Brown just lets it come across his body and hits it with his right foot, a bit more conviction, maybe a different result.
McCall. Kozluk. Love. Page. Curtis. Cabba. Away from Naylor. Steve Cabba. Michael Brown. Rob Kozluk. Peter Unlove. Love's cross. Sala mistimed his jump, and there's a way out for Kennedy.
He's one impressive youngster, Jagielka. He's going to be a very good centre-back. Been outstanding towards the latter part of the season, but he started very, very edgily today.
Touch for Sheffield United, who finished third in the First Division, 4 points ahead of Wolves, 12 behind second place Leicester. There's a certain irony about Wolves' situation here. They actually garnered 10 points fewer than last year, and yet here they are on the verge of going up. It's Naylor's flat long throw. Page away. Kennedy won the header. Came to Cameron. Cameron slipped rather, took the sting out of the attack. Newton trying to re-inject that sting. Blake is hobbling back onto an onside position. Cameron. Slack ball from Newton. Curtis worked it out with Jagielka. Osama one ahead. Nicked it beyond left. Leicester. Cabot the chaser, Naylor into touch. Lifted in by McCall. Side away. I've turned it back. Cosmic thought about a shot. Well, Love. Stumbled.
It's a shame as well because there was an excellent ball in from Unlove.
The better part of 70,000 people inside the Millenium Stadium for the last football match of the season. As clear as the divide of colours that you can see in that picture is the divide of emotions currently. At one end there is a library. At the other end there is a raging party. Owen in a hurry with the free kick. Tom, Brown. It's Cabot's cross. Butler in the ideal spot, back in by McCall. Up in the air via Lescott. And then clear from Sean Newton.
Anything that's been thrown in by Sheffield United today, I think goalkeeper Matt Murray, Lescott and Butler have been very, very solid, very strong.
Working calmly out with Murray. Of course, rather cruelly, a whole season does come down to this game. You shouldn't make too many judgments based on what you see over 1.5 hours of football, but one is bound to be tempted to do that regardless. And on the basis of what you've seen here, you have to believe that Wolves seem better equipped for a higher level. Jagielka in towards McCall. And McCall for Cabot, and it could still come through for Asaba. And their old gold shirts getting in each other's way, and McCall won it back, and it came to Robbie Coslow. The Love. Cabot. Flag is up on the far side. Curtis was trying to wriggle in, and the referee blew Steve Cabot.
Substitution for Sheffield United.
Well, here is the change that was bound to happen. Less than half an hour,
It's number 10.
in which, at the expense of Peter and Love, for Paul Pescasolido to come off big time. His wife Karen Brady is in the crowd. She's at this fixture for the second year running, having seen her Birmingham City go up last year. Now it is the man who has to bring home the bacon.
If it were 0-0 and he came off the bench, then the Wolves back four would certainly be feeling it, be worried about him. 3-0, I think they'll be relatively confident now they can deal with his threat. And he'll pose a different set of problems, but Sheffield United have to get the ball to his feet.
Second goals this season, including a special one right at the end at Bramall Lane. Rather noisy, upbeat night against Nottingham Forest. As things stand, that seems a million miles, a million years ago. Blake. Making a sort of scissors run in front of him. Curtis. Cameron came to get it. Cameron did get it. And he fed Kennedy, and Wolves could wrap it up here if Kennedy finds the right ball. Jagielka just got enough on it.
And great improvisation as well, because it wasn't the orthodox method. I think he actually stuck his right leg back behind him to intercept.
Brown. Coslow. Brown. McCall. Tom. McCall. 39 years old next month.
I think at times like that, trying to go that central route all day, playing into Wolves' hands, they've been very, very steady back there. You know, you've got to be looking to Curtis and Kozlik to bomb down the flanks and provide a little bit of width for them, but there's just been none of it.
Newton. Away from Kozlik. He's still going. Sean Newton and Kenny Miller. Just over elaborate. Brown trying to find that killer pass. It's not a bad effort. Bounces for Cabot. Tackle from Lee Naylor. Curtis. Pescasolido. From Dennis Irwin. Pescasolido kept it in play and then let it run out of play. Turned 32 years old yesterday, the Canadian, promoted with Fulham in 2001 before moving north to Breville Lane. International friend and colleague Nathan Blake, the two had an embrace before the game, sportingly. Friendly embrace. For Cabot. One had a hit, one a corner. Pescasolido, good save! And then stopped on the line. And Kennedy.
It's a handball too. It certainly caught him on the hand. Whether it caught him on the knee first or not, I can't be sure.
Well, Sheffield United have a free kick out of it ultimately, but they feel, and I think with justification, that they should have a penalty here. They were given a very fortunate one at the start of the half.
Matt Murray does so well to make the first save, and then when it's followed up
by Jagielka,
it certainly caught him on the arm. It was headed for the corner.
Kennedy got off the hook, but for how long? Sometimes this season, Michael Brown's free kicks from here have been as good as penalties. He has McCall to discuss it with, Tongue to dispute it with, and Kozlik looking to use a long run as well. It's Michael Tongue. Oh, it's another great save, and Page over the top. And that is the day in microcosm for Sheffield United.
Nothing will go their way, absolutely nothing. But again, you've got to credit the goalkeeper. He's trying to guess which way it's going to go, and how crucial a touch is that. And when it fell to Robert Page, well, he didn't go at it convincingly. But this guy, for me, is probably the man of the match this afternoon. I think he's been fantastic.
Page, who had such a happy experience at Wembley with Watford 4 years ago, is suffering big time now. Partly at the hands of a goalkeeper who is putting in just a top-draw demonstration of the art here. Page. Kozlik. You have to observe as well, Jim, that having been 3-0 down at half-time, you know, Sheffield United could be 3-2 by now.
Well, Wolves have allowed them room to come at them all day. They've sat very, very deep. They're even deeper again now, but Sheffield United still pounding away. I don't think the football's great, but they're pounding away.
Tongue's caught. Out by Butler. Came down for Kozlik. Tongue. Something's got to break for them eventually. Page. Murray, the man of the moment, probably the man of the match.
mean, maybe to change Sheffield United's fortunes, the Michael Brown penalty early in the second half, that would have been a great fillip for him had it found the back of the net, and they would have had the belief and enough time to recover things. Credit to them, because they're resilient, they're showing good resolve and good spirit to keep on battling, but with a goalkeeper in fine form like that, it's not looking likely still.
Sarva's flip, Lescott out, Cava back in. Goal kick. You're about to say also that Wolves, given their recent history, wouldn't be human if, having conceded a goal early in the second half, they didn't get a few collywobbles.
Absolutely. I mean, a 3-0 cushion. I think the line in the dressing room at half-time from Dave Jones would be focus, nothing silly, good communication, just keep battling away from one another, do your job professionally, and you'll be okay. And in the main, I think they have. I think the problem for them, and what the manager would like, is in return, Sheffield United are allowed to come back at them time and time again. Wolves are not keeping the ball well enough.
Asaba. Away from Tom. Back in by Cava. Asaba on the turn, away from Ince. But into Lescott, who, for my money, just always seems to have been there. Blake. Just less than 20 years out of the big-time Wolves, just less than 20 minutes away from being back in it. Ince, who would love to be a part of it, I'm sure. Butler, Cameron, Irwin. Heaved up towards Miller. Challenge from Robert Page. They're friends, by the way. They're friends like that.
I think he's been very good today. It's just a little clash of heads from Robert Page and maybe well. But I think Blake, in holding the ball up, I think he gave Wolves a foothold in the game. He certainly helped them off to a fantastic start.
Sheffield United.
Well, they can afford a smile as they make the change. Kevin Blackwell and Wayne Allison. The chief is going on in place of Carla Saba, for whom this is going to be one of those downbeat playoff final memories. He has plenty of both sorts. And the instruction to the chief, just go on and get me 4. Wayne Allison, who has scored 181 club goals for various different employers, from Halifax to Watford, from Bristol City to Huddersfield. Allison, McCall. Got a shout from Murray. Dennis Irwin, chugging beyond the halfway line, possibly for the last time in his distinguished career. Here comes the Wolves change. Kenny Miller may remember the afternoon for scoring the goal that ultimately ensured that Wolverhampton Wanderers would for the first time play in the Premiership. That is the picture for his mantelpiece, and they will always remember him for it. And he gives way. So so that Dean Sturridge can have a quarter of an hour cameo. Owen. Hint. Against Cava.
You can understand the frustration, just desperate to get the ball under control and get it up the other end of the pitch.
But there must now be, in the Sheffield United team, an increasing realisation that it ain't going to happen. Wolves, in their very shape now as an indication of where the game stands. They're committing relatively few to the set piece. Naylor hasn't found any of the three in the box.
Just as well, yeah.
Solido. Top. Brown. Tired pass from Michael Brown. For whom this has been a forgettable afternoon. Kennedy. With a nibble of his shins. Still look back and remember this is the season he broke through.
I think, look, it looks as if they're going to lose this final now, and I think that would certainly be said to him. Once this disappointment is out of the way, it's still been an absolutely fabulous season for the likes of Michael Tongue and Michael Brown, and indeed for Sheffield United generally.
It's absolutely fabulous, but totally heartbreaking as well. Two major semi-finals, but for him, the man whose heart has been broken so often, for him, this is the day. And anyone with an ounce of humanity has to feel pleased and proud for him. Here's Solido. He's got a corner. I suppose he'll spend so much time in his Caribbean hideaway next year. He'll use his season ticket. Tom's corner. Newton back. The heart-stopping drama and trauma of his appearance in a final with Charlton the other year. Time for off-the-ball shenanigans. Michael Brown has been awarded a yellow card. Brown. He's all rather desperate and going nowhere now. Unbeaten in their last 11 games, including amongst which 7 clean sheets. They have only conceded 7 goals in that 11-match unbeaten run, of which 3, funnily enough, were scored by Sheffield United in a high-scoring draw at Bramall Lane. But unless Sheffield United can find 3 more in the next 11 minutes, the Wolves have done it, and the Baggies and Frank Skinner are going to have a lot to swallow this evening. And there is another man for whom, again, anyone with a human heart has to feel a degree of pleasure. Away by Butler, his stout centre-half.
And for Dave Jones, I mean, you can't fault what he says, that, look, everybody's talking about Sir Jack Hayward and the club, but for him, personally, after what he's been through, big moment.
In by Tongue. Oh, he's lost one, and Alisson's tried to turn. But for every red and white striped shirt, all afternoon there seemed to have been a dozen in goal. It just hasn't been Sheffield United.
that's true. I think they could have enjoyed a kinder break now and again, maybe even had another penalty after Michael Brown missed the first. But they didn't start the game well, Peter. I mean, going back to my time at Anfield, they were always on about starting a game in alert fashion, being alive to it. And I think they were sluggish in that regard today, Sheffield United, and it cost them. Wolves got the upper hand early on and have played it pretty well since.
Free kick in favour of Dean Sturridge. Paul Ince over it. A few of them lining up to enjoy the most photographed moment in Wolverhampton Wanderers' recent history. What about Dennis Irwin? 2 decades in the game, in front of dancing, jigging Wolves fans, to sign off his professional career from here. What about Dennis Irwin? Nearly. The corner.
Yeah, only because of the deflection. I think he felt, judging by the reaction, that they had a good chance until it took a little nick off the wall. Stuart McCall.
I'll tell you how old Dennis Irwin is. He's old enough to have played for Leeds against Sheffield United in a game in which Peter Lorimer scored a goal. Kennedy's corner. Lescott couldn't get there. Ince. And again, Paul Ince is loving this now. What is Lescott doing there? Offside. Enjoying his afternoon, that's what he's doing. Going through the lot now. The governor's in charge. Page across with Blake. Check that one, mate. Newton, Sturridge. Away from McCall, away from Page.
Doesn't matter so much that the end ball wasn't that great. I mean, that's what he was sent on to do. Just get hold of the ball, run it into the corners if you have to. Just make sure you eat up time.
Brown. Well, if Wolves aren't to be promoted, you're about to watch the most extraordinary 7 minutes football you've ever seen. Here's Cameron.
Got to feel so sorry for Sheffield United. I mean, the players to me now look jaded, Peter. If they can't produce, it will be the most exceptional few minutes ever.
Tesca Solido. Wolves have started to play for fun now.
I think there's a lot that attaches it to a playoff final emotionally as well. And I think the players, after the season they've had, 3-0 down at this stage, it's hard to cope with. Fatigue kicks in big time.
Ince has yielded a free kick within striking range again for Michael Brown. But you think what those lot went through last year with that awful anti-climax and the salt rubbed in by West Bromwich Albion, and you think what they've been through over the last 2 decades, and you think what they're going through now. 6 minutes away from it, but Brown and McCall over a Sheffield United free kick. And it's lame. And it's limp, and it's bouncing away, and it just has not happened for them. There is a picture worth more than 1,000 words. It's been an extraordinary final, this, insofar as it hasn't been close. They almost always are. They almost always have late drama. The last 10 First Division finals have included a goal in or after the 84th minute. And we are into the 84th minute now. Any goal that came now is unlikely to have the drama of similar ones that have gone before. Newton, a couple ahead of him, and there's lots of space for them to run into. Kenny's had to come. He's had a super season as well with keeper. Curtis. marked contrast. It isn't the end of the world to lose this game, but it sure feels like it. Tongue, Pesca-Solido, Brow, Pesca-Solido. And the awful truth for Sheffield United is that they are going to have to go away, have a rest, wind themselves up, and go through the whole slog all over again. 46 games of it and possibly more.
And you just hope they can keep this side together, because if Neil Warner can manage that, then they have every chance of going up automatically next season.
Newton. I do remember saying similar things about Dave Jones and Wolves around about this time last year. How on earth, what a feat of man management that had to be, to get a team that had so horribly collapsed back up for a whole new season.
Well, I think the signings again of Ince and Irwin, and that experience has been crucial. But there's nothing like experience and disappointment to be better for it. And every one of them is steeling himself against that this year. And, you know, it doesn't have to be pretty. I've seen that in the semi-final again at times today. It's just about getting the job done whatever way you can. They've certainly learned their lot.
Also going to make a time-wasting change. Adam Proudlock's waiting to come on. He hasn't been involved in even the 16 for the last couple of months. Kennedy's taken a corner. Blake's had the header. It's Nathan Blake's last touch.
Substitution for Wolverhampton
As a little boy, Nathan Blake would have dreamed of a standing ovation in his hometown after the scoring of such a major goal as this. It has been a dream come true day for the Welshman in South Wales, for the Wolverhampton Wanderer, who will be back in the Premiership next year. Adam Proudlock, who's been fringe and has actually scored a couple of goals this season, and you can hear the boo hisses because of it for Sheffield Wednesday on loan. Any goal for Sheffield Wednesday is a goal against Sheffield United, who were so up for the prospect of being 2 divisions above their city neighbours for the first time in 28 years. That ain't going to happen. McCall, Brown, Curtis, McCall, Newton, McCall. How many more professional games of football there are in his extraordinary engine. Ahead for Michael Tongue. Now by Leicester. Sturridge. Bags of space, bags of time. Proudlock in the middle. Dean Sturridge running up Page and going all the way himself, Sturridge, when perhaps in truth Proudlock was the more sensible option, but he saw a headline, he saw his name up in lights.
Well, it was Hollywood time for him, wasn't it? He wasn't going to pass it off. Proudlock's got himself in a good position. Could easily have been squared to him, and it probably would have been 4. You can understand it in the circumstances, though, if he'd gone all the way.
In a survey of 100 people asked, only 3 would have passed. It's corner flag time, which ain't a great sign if you're a Sheffield United fan. It is nearly up for them. Almost tears time. Kennedy.
2 minutes time allowed. 2 minutes.
2 minutes to add on. 2 minutes the Wolves can enjoy. Newton. Proudlock's on a corner. And Wolves are going to finish the game in front of their own supporters. A team relegated from the top division in 1984. By 1986 they were in Division 4. It's only 15 years ago that they were celebrating promotion from Division 4. They've been stuck where they are for a while, but stuck they are no more. And whilst they are words that won't go down well at the Hawthorns and around the West Midlands, and indeed at Bramall Lane, you're bound to say that there is a Wolves-shaped hole in the Premiership. It is a club that has reason to believe it belongs there, and is now going to belong there. Just about 20 years since they dropped out of English football's high society and began their sorry slide. 20 painful years for Wolverhampton Wanderers. But they are nearly there. Owen away. Wolves just about home and dry. A glance at the watch. McCall. All in a lost cause now for the poor beaten Blades who've given so much to this season. Kozluk lifting it in. Lescott away. And Wolves' tortuous journey to hell and back is over at last. And why wouldn't you smile for Dave Jones, who himself has made a personal journey to hell and back? And why wouldn't you smile for those in old gold who have carried the weight of history, that burdensome weight which is now lifted from their shoulders on the home ground of Nathan Blake internationally. Blake, who scored one of their 3 first-half goals in front of their extraordinary support. And their thoroughly decent manager finally has his just desserts. And a year ago, the hurt of those fans was as close as any sporting hurt comes to being insufferable. That spirit-sapping collapse, allowing West Bromwich Albion in. Well, now it's Wolves who can glance smugly down from the upward escalator to see the baggies disappearing beneath them. And it is Sir Jack Hayward's day, perhaps above all others.
To the runners-up this
Just a
afternoon,
wonderful
Sheffield
personal
United.
moment for him.
It's been a
And
long,
Wolves,
hard
the club which has come to
season.
epitomise, to caricature, almost to define football's cliche sleeping giant. Wolves sleep
Thanks
no
for
more.
staying. And many, many congratulations. Next year it's the Premiership for Wolverhampton Wanderers.
Half a century on from the first of Stan Cullison's 3 Millenium championships. Wolves will be back where they believe they belong. At first they didn't succeed, but boy, did they try and try and try again. And Wolves at last have made it.
And the medals and the trophy will take place. Here they go.
Sir Jack has lived for. Precisely that line. led them back.
The first up is the manager, Dave Jones. And Dave leads the entire team.
A moment of personal triumph for Dave Jones. A moment of collective triumph for Wolverhampton Wanderers. So often thwarted, so close to the line. They have finally crossed the line now. These are the medals that so many before them have craved on behalf of this club. This could be Dennis Irwin's farewell handshake, the last of his many, many awards. It is the only award that those people wanted of their club this year. It's what his life came to be about. His club is where he wanted it to be. And now the governor, the man who's won so much before, twice a champion of England, twice a cup winner, the League Cup, the Cup Winners' Cup, now something new. This time it is another silver trophy that awaits him. The trophy may be silver, but today all that sparkles is old gold. Wolves, grand old Wolverhampton Wanderers are in the Premiership.
Wanderers a fantastic summer. You've had a great time here in Cardiff. Next year,